We need to address this one story wherein SBI, the board has approved the IPO when it comes to SBI Funds Management, and that's a big story in the development right now. They've said that the bank will be selling their 6.3% stake through an IPO, and SBI Funds Management is the asset management arm of SBI. In fact, this is a major, it's a joint venture between Amundi Asset Management and the bank. And this is a major development where we'll be getting my colleague Vishwanath to join in as well. But overall, let's just pull up the stock of SBI and see what SBI is doing in trade, because this conversation was something which was probably in the works as well. The stock's seeing some bit of pressure right now, trading pretty much on the borderline. But clearly over here, what we're talking about is where SBI, the board has approved the possibility of an IPO for its subsidiary, which is SBI's Fund Management. And this was done actually back then in December 2021. That's when the board had gone ahead and approved it. However, the recent reports were indicating that the IPO currently was off the table, but now that SBI has come out and said it officially that the IPO will be going on, this was SBI's long-term plan to go ahead and list their mutual fund arm, and it was a potential IPO. And at that point in time, we were hearing of probably valuations of 100, or something.
1 lakh crore.
Yeah, 1 lakh crore at that point in time. And it would be completed when it talks about listing by March 2026. These were conversations that were happening in the past. But the developing story right now is where the SEBI's board has also had approved the exploring a potential IPO to offload that 6% stake in SBI Funds Management, which is a joint venture with a French asset manager, which is Amundi and SBI. Just to reiterate, the board has approved the IPO of SBI Funds Management. They will be selling 6.3% stake through the IPO. And this is the asset management arm of SBI. And it's a joint venture with Amundi Asset Management. The conversation over here is going to be, Mahima, in terms of the valuation that we're talking about, that was spoken about in the past. 1 lakh crore, and it's going to be one of the largest, is what I think. I have Vishwanath Nar, my colleague, who's in the studio with us. Vishwanath, this is an interesting development. It's back on the cards now and it's official.
Yeah, so the announcement was expected at some point in time this year, and it's coming in now, of course, just a day after the bank announces results on Tuesday. Now on Thursday, they've come out with the announcement that the board has cleared the IPO for SBI Funds Management. SBI Funds Management, just for our viewers' reference, is a joint venture that State Bank of India has with Amundi Asset Management, which is a French asset management company. This IPO was widely expected because the SBI chairman has on many occasions said that there are two businesses which are IPO ready. One is, of course, the asset management company, as has come out now, and separately the general insurance business. Now, what NDTV Profit has found out is that the general insurance IPO might be a little later, but with this new IPO coming in for SBI Funds Management, that's big news for State Bank of India, because SBI is also in the process of unlocking value in its entire business. As far as its results are concerned, the bank has crossed 100 lakh crore in business assets plus deposits together. So that was a big milestone that they crossed just on Tuesday. And now, of course, they're coming in and saying that further value unlocking is going to happen at State Bank of India with the listing of SBI Funds Management. 1 lakh crore was the number that we reported in our story in September. Of course, the final valuation, all of that will take some time because the process has just started. So application to the regulators, specifically SEBI, as well as the RBI, all of these regulatory approvals, once they come in, that's when we'll get a fairer sense of where exactly the valuation of this company stands.
Vishy, what's interesting over here is, one, when you're talking about a 1 lakh crore valuation, how big is it going to be? Because I think this would be the largest ever an asset management company would list with in terms of valuation in India, is my read, number one. And two, if I'm not mistaken, SBI Funds Management, it's a joint venture between SBI, which currently holds little over 60%, whereas Amundi holds around 36 odd %, right?
Yeah.
So SBI is going to look at offloading around 6% stake.
6.3.
Which will still be where majority will stay with an SBI in totality as well, right?
That's right. So it'll be interesting to see because, as you said, it's going to be the largest ever asset management company valuation on the market. Now, of course, remember that it's 1 lakh crore number is on the basis of what people internally at State Bank of India as well as their bankers are expecting. We still need to see, what the final valuation that they actually arrive at and at what valuation they actually go out to list. Because, of course, there's a lot of interest in SBI Funds Management simply because they're also one of the largest distributors of that mini SIP product that SEBI came out with, the 250 rupees. So they were one of the earliest sort of people who had come out with that kind of small quantity SIP. That way they can reach out to a larger base of customers, and India is expanding in retail mutual fund SIPs already. So we'll watch out for what exactly the number comes out at, but either way, even if it is in 1 lakh crore, this is still a very massive development for a State Bank of India.
Another follow-up I have from a regulatory aspect for you. Do you think that the company may need to actually seek an exemption from SEBI as well when it comes to the minimum shareholding MPS rule? Because the current shareholder agreement might limit the public float to less than the required 25% initially. Is that a potential approval that they will need as well?
I am currently unsure about that, Hiral, but it's an important question to answer because, if that kind of an exemption is needed, then that will be another step in this entire process. One could also think about Amundi actually selling out a significant part of their stake as part of this IPO. So all of these are currently moving parts, and as and when we get the final sort of direction in which this listing will go, we'll report that to our viewers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And those questions are just to highlight right now as to what could be the potential questions that need to be answered. What are the possibilities? And I'm sure Vishy will be getting us answers to all of these questions during the day as well.